Today I'm in Louisiana. We're going to be going back aboard this vessel, which is a 190-foot OSV that was built in the year 2000. We recently surveyed this vessel. We're going to go aboard and check out the results of the survey and have another look around and talk about the conversion of this 190-foot offshore supply vessel. It was built in the United States specifically to service the offshore oil industry. So their mission is to go out to the offshore oil rigs, and they deliver not only on-deck supplies, they also carry 121,000 gallons of fuel. And when they're not loaded down, you can see that the draft of the vessel is only 10 feet as it sits here right now. So one of the most important features of these vessels and the purpose, the mission of the vessel, is this large cargo deck behind me here. That is 130 feet by 35 foot wide. The deck cargo capacity of this deck is 1,320 metric tons. What that means is that anything that you build off the aft of this existing superstructure is already supportable here in this huge aft deck. Underneath the deck here, amidships, are the mud tanks, and the extra fuel tanks are outside of the mud tanks. So as part of the conversion process, what we do is we're going to lift up this deck, we're going to take out the mud tanks. So here I'm standing on the transom. We've got the 39-foot beam here. Most likely there's going to be a platform here. It depends on how you set the vessel up. You could have an A-frame here for launching a submersible. We have some designs where you actually will bring a sport fishing boat on board here on rollers, and that engineering is being done right now. Part of the reason that the bridge deck is 3 decks up on these vessels is to have a vantage point from which to look down and work on the aft platforms. Once this vessel is converted into an expedition yacht, you have the advantage of being able to operate from that bridge and run all your tenders and toys from up there. In the existing deck house, you have all your crew quarters, you have the galley, you have all of the things that you need to support this vessel and operate it worldwide as an expedition yacht. So the approach that we take on a conversion is to keep the existing deck house, which is 3 decks high above the main deck. It's all steel, and what we're going to do is add, coming aft from there, the different accommodations and other salons, and we'll go under this deck after we clean out the mud tanks. There can be other additions underneath this deck in terms of having gyms, cinemas. When you go all the way aft here under the deck, you're going to have your beach club. You'll have side openings in the hull in order to have access to the tender garage and also beach club access. We're already 3 decks up, and there's another deck above us which can be also utilized as a sun deck, and that can be expanded. So these vessels are set up for firefighting, and you see here these sprinkler and spray systems. So all around the vessel, if they are involved in putting out a rig fire, they sheet the vessel in water, and this will all be taken out because we don't need it, and that represents quite a bit of weight at a high level. These bridges tend to be oversized compared to what you would see on a yacht. They also, as you can see, they've got 360 degrees of glass, and this is typical on a workboat because they've got to be able to see what's going on as they get up close to the rigs. This control station back here is a very critical one because this is where the boat will be operated from when it's near a rig. So they're using their dynamic positioning. They are looking out here and running all the deck cargo operations from here. You've got Allstein controls here for the pods, including the Azipod that's up on the bow, which is an integral part of the DP system. It also is a possible get home system, and it has its own Caterpillar generator. Here's a traditional chart table with paper charts. Even though everything's electronic, they still have that, and that's a good idea. Some nicely kept Chelsea clocks. There are some of the ship's documentation, a stability manual, for instance. All of this is in the bridge as if the vessel was going back to sea tomorrow. Down here are the CAT manuals and the different equipment manuals. Forward helm station has everything you need. On a conversion, we would certainly update and upgrade all the electronics. Easily done. So on the main deck, the crew lounge here is fairly typical, and it connects directly in here with the main mess area. It is connected directly in to the galley. It's got the proper venting and fire controls, and it has all of the prep area and whatever you need to provide for a crew of this size. Walk-in refrigerator and freezer area. Nice big walk-in refrigeration, and it leads to the freezer. Again, it is large. So we're now one deck down from the main deck, and here is a set of circuit breakers and controls. So this is a 2-deck engine room. It's actually 3 decks because we can go down one below the engines. The bow thruster is 1 deck below us and forward. It's an azipod bow thruster. It has its own CAT engine. Here's the welding gear, and again you can see that everything is ready to go here. Even though the vessel has been laid up, there are tools and supplies everywhere, spares. Okay, so here we are in the main part of the engine room. Again, you will see that it has a 2-deck height, and there's another deck below us. Here is all your fuel management valves. So these CAT engines were started this week. They started right up. They are air start engines. This Caterpillar over here that the turbine is being replaced on is for the swing down azimuth on the bow, part of the DP system. This is your main generator here. Another Caterpillar, and that is the emergency generator that we're also working on right now. So as we go forward from the engine room, we're going into the tank space here. This space is actually about 100 feet long. We're right underneath the main deck. Above me here is probably another 5 feet. So we're about 11 feet to where I'm standing, and then another 4 or 5 feet beneath me, which gives you an idea of the interior volume here. Okay, these are oil recovery tanks here to starboard. These can be repurposed. They could be additional fuel tanks, or they can be taken out. In the middle here are the mud tanks. They are enormous, probably about 15 feet in diameter, and they go easily 2 decks below us and above us here. And they have with them all kinds of specialized pumping and equipment that will be coming out. This is going to lighten up the vessel, and it's going to create a lot of space here for tender garages, for spas, for a cinema, for a crew gym. The possibilities are not quite endless, but they are quite astounding. Above me here, you see the wire runs. As you have seen on all these vessels, everything is out in the open. So it's easy to service. It's easy, if there's a problem, you can locate it and deal with it. Under us, as we've been going along here, is the shaft. On this vessel, we have the intention of electrifying the propulsion and taking these shafts out. So these shafts not only take up a lot of space, but they also create vibration and noise. And for that reason, we're going to go electrical. We're going to convert those Caterpillar engines. We're going to put alternators on them and run wiring back here. These are Holstein azipods, and we can put an electric motor on them connected to the Caterpillar mains, which will be turned basically into generators for this purpose. In summary, this is an ideal conversion prospect for a global yacht support vessel.